Absolutely. Well, I have a dear friend with me tonight. Missy Hydes is like one of my greatest Arbonne blessings. I'm making her blush before she has to talk. And one of the best things, if not the best thing about this business, not the best thing I think is the personal growth that you have happen in Arbonne. That's definitely amazing. I do everything better because of the growth I've had in Arbonne, but also the other amazing things are the friends that we make and the friends that our kids make. I was there, in Maui seeing Arbonne kids that have grown up together on Arbonne trips. It was so incredible. That is amazing. And Missy Hydes, I have no idea how our paths would cross. She was from Louisville, I was from Nashville, except for Arbonne. And she's become a dear friend of mine, like a daughter, actually, and a daughter and a friend all at the same time. But if you love Missy Hydes and have heard her train before, let's give her some love in the chat if you don't mind. Give her a shout out. Tell her you're glad she's here. She's going to share. Last Sunday night, we had Carol Mulchan. She did a great job. She was a pinch hitter for us. We have a YouTube channel now. I think it's called Everyday Healthy, but the links that we're dropping for the recordings are actually a YouTube channel where we're now putting all of our recordings. So they'll all be in one place. So yay me finally after all these years. But they're there. And so Carol was last week. And then Dan and I were the previous week. And thank you for sharing love with Missy. And we talked about fanatical consistency, and consistency trumps constancy. We, in fact, all have time to do Arbonne. If I had time to do Arbonne when I did it, I know everybody does. Of course, maybe some people might have, emergency life happening. Of course, that's a given that they, actually don't have time. But for the most part, 95% of people absolutely have time to do this, but somehow they let other stuff come first, or they don't do the work or whatever. And then you begin to tell yourself that you don't have time. And so Missy has 6 children that she's had since joining Arbonne. So she joined Arbonne, I'm not really too sure how long ago, but she had 6 children since then. And I know that one of them is a senior in high school. She's been in for a while, but she has children that all their age ranges, and she homeschools several of them, not all, but several, definitely, and is an amazing Arbonne rock star. So I asked her on because I can say consistency, fanatical consistency, that's what I'm committing to. And I can tell you about the numbers and how to build an amazing Arbonne business. But this is the nuts and bolts of how that might look in your own life. And Missy's going to share how it looks in hers. So Missy Hydes.
Yay. Thanks, Lee.
Yes.
I love you so much. And I'm so happy to be here. And it's interesting when you know that there is a topic you are supposed to train on. You also get faced with every insecurity around why you are not actually qualified to train on that topic. And that is how I have felt actually this week. I knew that consistency was what I wanted to talk about. And I have some pretty strong feelings around consistency and why it is valuable and why it matters and why it is often the secret sauce that we talk about. But I feel like there is often a big gap between knowing I should be consistent, right? In my health, in my finances, in my relationships, in whatever, and then actually the executing of consistency and why that matters and how to do that. And so before I share what I have to share with you guys tonight, I just want to tell you that if you like listening to things, if you like kind of just retraining your mind to think differently, there's a really great training on YouTube. You can type in consistency, and Jim Rohn is a guy that was around years ago. He's no longer living, but I remember when I was in high school, I had a friend who had just started to dabble into network marketing, and he introduced me to Jim Rohn. I think I first heard about Jim Rohn when I was probably 15 years old. And anyways, there is about a 20-minute YouTube video about consistency. And he just says some really great things. And really, we could just play his training and that would be sufficient for tonight. But that could just be a secondary thing that you guys can be using to fill your cup, to fill your mind, to fill, so you guys know, maybe you don't, I'm a Christian. And there are things that are so true and relevant in the Bible. One of them, when I was thinking about this, is being transformed by the renewing of your mind. What we think about is who we start to become. And this area of consistency, the first thing, I've got 3 points for the note takers. I know who you are. And you want like a really clear outline and you like the things. Christy Lett is like, thank you for my 3 points. Let's go. And so the first is consistency in thought. Okay. What you think about determines how you're going to show up. Your mindset shapes your confidence, your consistency, and your willingness to stay in the game when things feel slow. And if I have been around, for those of you that don't know, I've been in Arbonne for 21 years. I started when I was 24 years old. I didn't have any social media. I had a flip phone that I had to pay per text. My husband and I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We shared one vehicle, and I was literally like, when Lisa's like, she's like a daughter. It's because I was literally like a baby. I was such a baby when I came into Arbonne. I had 0 to no life skills, right? Because I was 24 years old, and Arbonne has taught me so many things. But what I know to be true is that it is normal. It is to be expected that you are going to have seasons of slowness in your month. And if you are looking at your month and it's January 18th and you're like, I haven't really had much activity yet this month. I don't have a lot on my calendar, or maybe the last couple months have felt kind of slow. Now more than ever is such a critical time for you to be consistent in your thinking. Okay. For you to decide what you're going to tell yourself to believe about this opportunity, about this company, about these products. Like, I don't want to go on a tangent. I could go on and on about getting your thoughts right, but you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your belief. So wherever you are in your business, that's what you're believing for. And when I was writing this and thinking through that was like a little bit of like a kick in the butt to myself. Was I think I have, goals of being, a business where we're doing maybe $250,000 a month, but that's not the reality. The reality is we're at this other position. I'm not going to tell you guys what that number is, but that just reveals that that's the level of my belief right now. Right. So if I want to have a bigger business, I've got to get my belief, my consistency around that belief up. Consistent leaders manage their mindset before they manage their calendar. Are you going to work to train your brain what to think? Your brain will believe what you tell it, and doubt isn't failure, just staying there is. So if you've been in a slump, if you've been in inactivity, if you haven't been consistent, right, that's normal. But what starts to create you to be a 1%er, a 2%er, even like a 5 and 10%er in life, honestly, is that you just don't stay there. You don't accept that as your lot in life. And I think what can happen is as you stay in a business like Arbonne, and as you set goals and then you don't hit the goal, you can find yourself in this repetitive cycle of like, well, am I just always the person who's going to set this goal and fall short? And I just want to challenge you. No, you're just a person who's setting a goal, and maybe you're just not closing that gap by doing enough activity or training the brain. But there's so much value in staying and not just quitting. Okay. But I want to kind of challenge you guys tonight, especially as we're in January, especially as we still have about halfway of the month left to go. Like, don't stay where you are. Don't stay where you are. Be willing to start to make different choices in your thinking. So I want you to think about, here's some practical application. Choose one intentional thought to start each day with. Maybe that's, I'm consistent. I attract business builders. I have a full calendar. Whatever those things are, however you want to phrase that up. Also, on the flip side, I want to really challenge you to put a guard over your mouth, to speak life over your business, to speak what you seek until you see what you want. Too many times we are saying death over our business. We are saying things that are not helpful. It's like, oh, I can't find anybody to host. I can't get anybody who wants to stick with me in this journey, right? Like it's so easy for us to just speak the things that we actually do not want in our business, right? I want hosts. I want people who are pumped when I ask them to have if they'll be willing to host an event for me. I want people who are going to do this business for the long term. That's what I want. So that's what I need to be saying. That's what I need to be speaking. That's what I need to be thinking. Okay. So remind yourself to that unseen efforts count. And what you do in the dark is what gets celebrated in the light. Especially as we're thinking about GTC. I heard Lisa talking about GTC coming up in April. And at GTC, it's just a showcase of all of this success, of all of this consistent effort. But do you know that 99% that's 1% of the story? 99% of that story of success that you see on the stage or you hear from, a main stage speaker is done when no one is watching and no one cares and no one's rewarding you. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I live in a house where not once has anyone come into my house and been like, hey, good job on doing your reach outs today. Not once in 21 years. Nobody's ever said that. I have a super supportive husband. I can say in my 21 years of ups and downs of business that he has always been supportive. He has always been a believer, but he's not coming in and being like, great job on doing your reach outs today. Great job. Like, no one is doing that. But that's what's required in order for you to have that success that you're looking for. Okay. But you have to decide that you have to take responsibility for this. You have to take responsibility for yourself, for your thoughts, for your business. Okay. And for your habits. That's the second thing. Number 2, consistency in your habits. Why does this matter? Is because habits remove emotion from the equation. When your habits are consistent, momentum will follow. This for me is really one of the parts that has helped me stay successful in my business as I have had 6 children. Okay. For those of you that don't know, I do have 6 kids. My oldest is 18. We have 18, 15, new 13, 10, almost a 6, and a 3-year-old. 5 girls and 1 boy. I'm potty training the 3-year-old. If anyone has any tips, I'll sure take them because he is way different than the girls. But I've got one that I'm getting ready to launch to college, right? I've got 2 teenagers, like in the thick of all the emotionalism, because they're 15 and 13. Pray for me, okay? Then I've got a 10-year-old and I've got a kindergartner that I'm trying to teach how to read. Like, what's happening? I don't know how to do these things, right? So it's like, well, how do you, plus I coach basketball on the side. And I do that, 1, because I don't have time, but 2, it's just something I absolutely love. But how do I stay consistent in my business? I stay consistent in my business because I've built my life on habits. I've built my life on, I just know what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I just know, like, I know what we're eating for lunch tomorrow. I know probably what dinner is tomorrow night because I don't have to think about it. And so some of that, and years ago, I will tell you, my wiring and personality is really to be a little bit more like free spirit and like kind of just fly by the seat of the pants. Like Lisa and I kind of are soul sisters in that way. Our motto in life is, it'll work out. And we kind of giggle and laugh our way through it, right? We're not super planners for a lot of those, I would say, major things, but I am a planner in terms of just the little things that I don't need to drain my energy and my time. When I know that tomorrow night we're having spaghetti and Brussels sprouts for dinner, and I know what time we're leaving for practice, then I don't have to spend 2 or 3 hours tomorrow throughout my day. Like, do I need to go to the grocery store? Should I place an online order? What kind of food do we have? Like, those are just some of those little habits that really can help me set myself up to be successful. So I want you to think about, what are your habits? Like, do you go to bed at night with a clean kitchen? And I know that might sound silly and dumb, but you guys, if I wake up and my kitchen is dirty, I'm behind. I'm super behind, right? So like, go to bed with your kitchen clean. Wake up in the morning and just get the bed made. Just make some of those choices in your life so you can set yourself up to be as successful as possible. But I am going to just kind of throw this in, is make sure that the habits that you're choosing are moving you towards the goal that you say. Okay. Meaning, I want to prioritize like staying healthy and working out in my life. And there were times in my life where I would drive to a workout place, 25 minutes, do a 50-minute fitness class, and then drive home 25 minutes. Okay. That's 2 hours of my day 2 hours to work out. I don't have 2 hours. I'm not in that season. One day I might be, right? So but I can do an at-home workout that takes me 20 minutes while I'm still in my pajamas in my living room, sometimes with a kid or two, like climbing on top of me or reading a book to me as I'm doing my workout or asking me math problems, right? Like I can do those kinds of things. So sometimes I have seen people prioritize habits that are valuable and good, but they're chomping up large clumps of their time, so they don't actually have the time to build the business. They don't have the time to do the reach outs. They don't have the time to execute the activity because they're like, well, I'm in this fitness club and I'm in this networking group and I'm in this Bible study, and their whole day is consumed. And it's like, those are wonderful things, but if you actually haven't made time to do your business, you're not going to be able to actually do your business. Small repeatable habits build trust with yourself and with your team. It also builds trust with your family because it's like they know the routine, they know the schedule, they know like what we're doing when we're doing it, right? And so you start to build those little habits, and consistency will beat perfection every time. Some other little habits that you can start to build into your day is scheduling time to work your business, scheduling time for follow-up. Another little tip is before you go to bed at night, who are the 7 people you're going to reach out to tomorrow? Like having some of those things just done so that you don't have to take so much time, which really is energy. And the less energy you can drain from yourself in all these little nonsensical things, the more energy, vibrancy, like excitement, vision, belief you're going to be able to have to put into the things that actually matter in this business. Okay. And too many times we get bogged down. We just drain the energy tank with all these things that aren't really going to matter at the end of the day. Okay. So figure out for yourself, based on your life, your life does not look like mine. So your habits are not going to look like mine. But I need you to start thinking about this year, what are some new habits that you're going to build? And here's another word of caution is some of you are going to be like, okay, now I need to like go down the rabbit hole of like habit stacking. And I've got to read the books, 5 books on building your habits. And I got to do I got to make a game plan on the habits. Stop it. Stop. Literally just do one habit. Like just be normal. Just be normal. You don't need a college degree in banking habits. It's just some simple little habits. And some of the habits too are just simplifying your life. Like this is going to apply a little bit more to the moms with little kids than those of you who have older kids, but like just eat the same things. Eat the same thing every Monday. Eat the same thing every Tuesday. Like stop draining the energy trying to be so creative with all these things. If building your business, if taking it to the next level in this year, in this season is the thing that is high priority for you. Okay. So figure out how to do some of those habits, because the other thing is that your team is going to mirror your habits, not your words. If you find you're like, I just can't get people to do the things. I'm telling them all the things, but I can't get them to do the things. Well, are you doing the things? Are you listening, to a book 10 pages a day or reading 10 pages a day? Are you doing your outreaches or reach outs? Are you executing your activity? Are you sponsoring people? Are you knocking off, the circles on the trip to AIT? Like, are you doing those things? Because if you're not doing those things, your team's not going to be doing those things. And there's one thing that I really have just come to, I would say in humility, value about myself is that I am reliable because I've built my life on habits. I show up, I do the things, I do the work. Like if I say I'm going to do it, it's going to get done. And it's also the example that I'm giving my children. Like they don't see me saying these things and then not actually doing them. Okay. But habits for me is a way to minimize that energy drain and to just start to build a life, build a template, build time so that you can go get the things done. Okay. So, and for those of you, if there's people on here who like homeschool, like I had to kind of reconfigure our homeschooling schedule so that it worked to allow me to work. Because if homeschooling and I'm only 5 years in, so I know I'm not a homeschool expert, but I could easily allow homeschooling to consume all of my day and even all of my night if I wanted to, in such a way that I wouldn't even have really time to build the business. And I could easily use, well, I homeschool my kids to justify why I'm not building my business or why I'm not sacrificially building and putting the time in. Okay. So again, it's like making sure we're building habits that are serving the vision that you have. And if you're on this call on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock, my guess is that your vision is to grow your business, which means grow your paycheck, which means grow your influence, which means growing your opportunity, which means growing your choices. Okay. That's what building the business is. It's not just about like, oh, I want to become an area manager. That really, at the end of the day, means nothing. Becoming a regional vice president, a national vice president, that doesn't mean anything. What those things represent is you have more choices. You have more flexibility. You have more disposable dollars. You have more time. That's what that means. Okay. Third, consistency in action. Action is where you take your belief and your habits and you turn them into something. You turn them into growth, because confidence will follow your action, not the other way around. And too many times, I think we have this idea of, I'm going to wait for inspiration. We don't say this because when we say it out loud, it sounds so silly that we would like never say it, but I'm just going to say it so you can hear how silly it sounds. But you're like, oh, I'm going to really wait to be inspired. And then I'm going to like reach out. I'm just going to like get some confidence. And then I'm going to ask somebody to host an event for me. Like I'm going to just, right. We don't say that, but that's how we act. That's how we act. And what is required is you have to take action. The habits that you're going to have implemented are going to be the catalyst that you can take the action off of, right? Because if you're not prioritizing every single day, initiating conversations, reaching out to people, following up, you're not going to have any action to take. Those things are not the action. I know they feel like action, but they're not. They're actually like pre-activity. I tell my team, I'm like, those are pre-activities. You don't get paid for those. You get paid for the activities that you actually are executing, but you don't even get to get on the field to do the activities unless you've done the pre-activities. Like the pre-activities, that's practice. That's your practice time. That's like getting in the gym, doing the reps, conditioning yourself, right? Getting in the game to play the game, which is doing our events, having our one-on-ones, getting people on Discover Arbonne calls. That only happens when we've done that pre-work. But where your confidence will come from, what will start to build that sense of like, yes, this is it. This is the thing, is when you're doing the activity, you do and then feel. And we get that backwards a lot of times. We think I need to feel a certain way, and then I'm going to do something. And that is such a lie. It's such a lie. And I also want to say this. Hopefully it won't get me kicked out of ever training again for Lisa Worries. But if you are only willing to do things in your business that feel good, you will move no further than you are right now. And some of you are unwilling to do things that feel really uncomfortable. Some of you are unwilling to do things that you just, I just don't like them. They don't feel authentic to me. What? Guys, there's a lot of things I do in my parenting of my 6 kids I don't like. They don't feel real authentic to me. Like they're not things I'm super passionate about, but it is just what it is. Like if you want to have a business that can create a full-time income on part-time hours, you have to be willing to do things you don't like. I'm sorry. You just have to be willing to do those things. There are still things after 21 years in Arbonne that I'm like, if Stian ever called him in like, Missy, you can actually stop doing that, I would be like, done. I never want to do that again. Right. But he's never called. He's never called and offered that to me. I mean, I'm still holding out hope that text is going to come, but it's not. And so you have to be willing to do things that just don't feel great all the time. That's not an indicator that it's wrong. It's not an indicator that you're moving in the wrong direction. Like I think we have bought in for too long that if it feels kind of that I'm not doing the right thing. And that is not true. Okay. when I coach middle school basketball, girls basketball, and every single year at the beginning of the year, every time those girls come out to try out for the team, there's like, they have this overwhelming sense of like, eek, this is uncomfortable. That's super uncomfortable for them. But they're willing to do it. They don't come into the gym and they're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm going to go home. Maybe they do, but they don't ever get to be in the team. They don't ever get to get in the game, right? And so if you want to get in the game of Arbonne, you got to be willing to do the things that are uncomfortable. Action doesn't require confidence. Confidence will come with action. And guess what? Consistency doesn't require confidence. Consistency doesn't require any sort of special criteria. You just get to choose whether you're going to show up on the good days, on the bad days, on the hard days, on the super successful days, on the super quiet days, on the days that everybody you're reaching out to is like, yes, yes, yes. And the days that everybody that you're reaching out to is literally like not paying any attention to you, right? You have to show up every day, day in and day out. The most successful people are not the most talented people. They're just the most consistent people. And if you can start to actually believe that that is true, you will realize that there isn't anything that can keep you from growing your business to the place that you want it to. But oftentimes we believe a lie that excuses away our inconsistency to justify why someone is where they're an influencer. Well, she's so beautiful. Well, she's got 80,000 followers. Well, she XYZ. Well, they blah, 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 blah. No, it's just they're the most consistent. They just show up and they keep showing up and they keep doing the things even when they don't feel like it, right? They keep showing up when their entire team quits and they're back to being a team of one, right? They keep showing up when all of their hosts for the month cancel on them because the duck that they had, got pregnant or whatever random reason that I'm sure a host has told you that they can no longer host for you, right? Like they keep showing up when their business builder who told them, I'm going to the top of the business in the next 5 months, stops answering their phone calls within 48 hours. Like they keep showing up. So I want you some practical applications here is, did your actions match the future that you say you want? Could you look at your calendar for the last week or for the last 18 days of this month? Are you doing what is necessary and needed in order to move yourself to where you want to be? And if the answer is yes, awesome. Keep going. If it is no, then you have to make a change. Otherwise you're just in a delusion. You're literally in a delusion. And this would be unloving of me or Lisa or any other leaders to say, you can keep doing minimal effort inconsistently, and you're going to find success. That's delusional. That is unloving and it is untrue. Okay. And so our job is to speak truth so that you have the tools and you are equipped to do what needs to be done. So if your actions aren't matching what you say that you want, you do one of two things. You adjust your actions or you adjust what you say that you want. They have to go together. If you say, I want a bonus in my district this month, and at this point you have signed up 0 people and you have executed 0 activity, it's not going to work. You got to change something. You either got to decide. And here's the thing. I think oftentimes the question should not be, what do you want? The question needs to be, what am I willing to work for? What am I willing to be inconvenienced by? What am I willing to sacrifice for? Because everybody wants to be a national vice president. Duh. Who doesn't? Everybody wants to have a $10,000 a month income with Arbonne. Who doesn't? That's not hard to answer that. The question is, what am I willing to work for? What am I willing to prioritize? What am I willing to be sacrificing for? That's what the question is. And if that is not being met with accurate action, then you just have to change one or the other. And if you don't know how to do that, reach up to your upline. But I'm also going to say this, don't reach out to your upline if you're not willing to make change. Don't do that because you're like, oh, I need a plan. I need to do. No, you don't. You just need to get to work or you need to change your goals, one or the other. And we're going to love you either way. It doesn't matter to us. Change the plan. Great. Change the activity. Great. I don't really care. You just have to decide that those things are going to be equaling one another, right? Second is commit to staying in motion even when you're in those slower seasons. I think that is one of the things that gets us nipped, so quickly is it's like when we're in activity, we're sponsoring, we're doing things. And you guys, everything that I'm saying to you, I have already said to myself 9,000 times because I've been in Arbonne for 21 years. I'm like a dinosaur. When people are like, how long have you been here? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm prehistoric. Like I've been here forever. I'm on the slow bus of success in Arbonne, right? So it's like I've had to learn all these things. But what happens is like we're doing all the things and then we just decide we're going to kind of like coast because it's summertime, because it's Christmas time, because it's new moon. I don't know, whatever your reason would be for coasting, or your kids get sick, or somebody's getting married, or somebody's going off to college, or somebody's got a senior in high. Like there's 9,000 reasons why you can take your hand off your business, but the starting and the stopping of activity, because no one ever says that they stop their business, right? No one ever quits unless they really quit, but no one ever quits. But if you're not in activity, you're stopping. And we all know if you've ever taught a kid to ride a bike, it's much easier for them to just keep pedaling than to stop and start over again. So that's part of that consistency is just decide what it is that you can be doing to stay in motion in your business. And if you haven't yet gotten in motion for 2026, you have to start. You have to start, or you have to be willing to be honest with yourself and say, I am not in a place where I'm willing to take action. And that's okay, but you're not going to move any further than you are right now. Okay. Last thing, and then I may be done because I know we're over on time, is that momentum is going to compound. So you just keep showing up. You keep doing the things. And if you're like, I am doing the things, but my team isn't doing the things, keep doing the things until you have a team that's doing the things. Like continuing to tell the people who aren't doing the things to keep doing the things. They're not doing the things, guys. They're not. And you're trying to convince them, you're trying to inspire them, you're trying to like motivate them. They are giving you what they are willing to put on the floor at this point. And if what they're putting on the floor, meaning what they're putting on their calendar, is if there's gaps then in your business in order to get you to the goal that you have, then you got to go fill the gap with new people. That's all it is. I think so many times we're trying to say new things to old people and instead of saying old things to new people and get new people in the game. Okay. Because that's probably across the board what helps solve most a lot of the challenges in terms of growing in your business is if we focused on getting new people instead of trying to remotivate people that have been around for a little bit of time. Okay. So consistency builds confidence. Consistency builds credibility. Consistency builds momentum, and consistency builds trust. You don't have to do everything. And some of you get tempted to do all the things, like all the things. And I'm really just going to challenge you that you just have to start doing the right things consistently, and the right things that are needed to move your business forward between now and the end of the month, between now and the GTC, between now and the end of the year are very, very simple. They're super duper simple because you have an incredible upline. We all do, that has already facilitated and housed so many of those extras that you don't have to even take care of. You don't have to worry about, you have to think about. So start mastering being consistent at the really simple, basic things of inviting people to take a look at Arbonne, telling people the Arbonne story, and then figuring out which account that they want. Do they want a PC account or do they want a consultant account, and move on to the next person, and doing that consistently. And if you will do that consistently, this will be my last thing. Over the next 90 days, I think you will look up and you will see that your business is in a totally different place than it is right now. But in order to do that, because you'll get off this and be like, okay, 90 days, being consistent for 90 days. I know Lisa has it, talked about that. You got to keep short accounts. You have to keep short accounts, because what will happen is if you don't pay attention, you're like, oh, I've got 90 days. Guess what? A lot of you won't even get started till day 67, because you're like, well, I got 90 days. No, you don't. You have today, and then you have tomorrow. And that's what this looks like. And that's how you build a life of consistency that builds a business of consistency. So Lisa, that's it. I'm done. Sorry, I went over.
Oh, go over. Keep going.
I'm done.
I know, that was so amazing, Missy. So passionate, but so loving. You're right. The most loving thing we can do for our teams is tell them the truth, right? That's
Yes.
so good. What do you guys want to show Missy some love? Tell her what this meant to you tonight, because it definitely was the sweetest butt kicking I've had in a long time. It was so nice. No,
you've trained me well, Lisa, on how to do that. You've trained me well.
I know. I know. I'm not ashamed of it. I want to speak the truth in love, because I want everybody to be as successful as they want to be. And I know you do too. And we overcomplicate it so we can stay in our comfort zone. We tell ourselves we're confused or frozen about what to do next, when really it's just, we don't want to do those things we don't want to do. And I will just tell you that, for me, I do everything as unto the Lord. And this has really, really challenged me tonight on a couple of different things. Like, my creative side has got to sit down. I can't create a new meal every night of the week, a new recipe. And for me, I made an impossible goal. We were trained on this thing called the impossible goal in Maui, and I made an impossible goal. And I have to do those things you shared with me tonight. Part of it is getting rid of some stuff and adding some stuff. And you challenged me tonight. You reiterated that. I don't know if you feel like this, but God will speak to you in several different ways about the same thing. So I'm listening. And I know everybody appreciates so much you sewing into us tonight. Thank you so much, Missy. And you guys, we are so blessed to have Missy Hydes as a trainer for us, aren't we? So blessed. So thank you so much, you guys. So early bird GTC registration has been extended to the 22nd, I believe it is. Get registered if you can. Just take a leap of faith, get the early bird registration in, and then just see how your business is going to take off, how you're going to earn commissions, all the things. Check out earnings.arbonne.com to be able to pay for this amazing conference. It's such a small fee to pay for a 3-day conference. If you're in any kind of field that you have to get ongoing training, this is such a great deal. And there are many, many Arbonne people going. So I bet you could even find a roommate. I remember I packed snacks my first year to go, because I just didn't have a lot of money to eat out. Do what you need to do to get there. You won't regret it at all, you guys. And lastly, I just want to say, we are growing our business. We have been focusing on sharing the business with passion and for the past couple of months, and we are having more and more independent consultant registrations. People want to earn extra money. They want $500, $800, $1,000 a month. And that's what I've been just sharing with people. I help people start their own business so they can make an extra $500, $800, $1,000 a month. People are so listening to that. They perk up their ears and listen. So yay you for getting purposeful about sharing this business side. Definitely give your disclaimers. Check out earnings.arbonne.com for PACE and what's typical. We definitely want to do that, but we also want to share this business opportunity with truth and passion about what it's done for our lives and pass on that blessing. So thank you, Missy. It all happens with consistency. Good night, everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah.